Member Shep, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. A special welcome to our permanent police chief. First meeting without the tag, without the intro.
Thank you.
So glad that your title is shorter than it just says police chief. Approval of minutes. Have a motion to approve the October 23rd, 2024 minutes.
So,
Second.
May I make
Any
a suggestion?
discussions, suggestions, edits, corrections?
If we could just, a couple minor changes to number 4. In the first sentence, I'm recommending we delete the word stated. It's redundant there. And the sentence, just make it a little simpler to delete that and replace it with after the interviews, town representatives rank. After the interviews, town representatives rank the individuals. These are not critical suggestions, just English.
Sure, could you, so instead of, I am always happy to edit my name out of anything. So instead of Member Nicholson advised following the conclusion, you said just following the conclusion of the interviews.
I changed to after the interviews,
Okay.
town representatives ranked the individuals. 2 words. And I can hand that to you, Gary. It's simple. Thank you.
Any others? All right, I would like to make a motion to approve the October 23rd, 2024 police committee minutes as amended.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, minutes pass. 2025 final budget review. Neshi or Councilor Neshi or Nicholson?
Sure, let me just, we put this on the agenda again as one of the central functions of the IMA, and the purpose of this committee is to provide advice, recommendation, and review of the budget on an annual basis. So recognizing that this is after the horse has left the barn, this is the approved budget. We just wanted to make sure that the members of this committee had their eyes on it, although it's been posted for 5 weeks, I think. So it's been out there. This is not a new document, but this is just the pertinent part of the town budget that includes the police expenses and revenues. So it's an opportunity for us to take a look at it, ask any questions, and otherwise take it home and, read it.
Chief, the vehicle repair went down significantly. Is that because the older vehicles have been,
we try to forecast based on our patterns, and our vehicle repair was high this year because our vehicle mechanic was out for a while due to a situation. So because of that, we had to seek additional assistance outside. We worked real well with the town highway department for certain things that we were able to incorporate, and then there were other things in which that we had to go out. We also, working through that, were able to utilize funds from auctioning off some of our vehicles to write that line for 2024. So I think on 2025, we're back on track.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. It's better to hear from you than from me, but it's that opportunity to share assets and resources with the highway department. Yes. A welcome. That's a welcome opportunity.
The superintendent of the highway department is phenomenal. We all know that. He is always willing to assist and share. His personnel have been great to us during that time frame. They did double duty. We were bringing them cars, and they were really helping out.
that's really great to hear. Makes so much sense.
Just Chief asked, there was a comment of several meetings back early on in the budget process about our department not being at its
full complement for a long time. And how, can you just expunge on how long that's been, what our complement is, how long it took to get to full complement, and is that where we are now? Is that what we are funding now, the full complement of the Manlius Police Department?
Thank you for that question. We also conduct analysis ongoing as to patterns and trends, what our needs are, what are the things in which that our community expects from us, what are the things in which that we really are in our wheelhouse to perform. Through that process, we then did a resource study over a 3-year period, and we're able to identify that we had some weaknesses. Many of those weaknesses were historic. When the organization provided school resource officers, not SPOs, but the full-time school resource officers over time as the schools were requesting. And of course, as the police department and, collaborative partner, they're our strongest partners, we want to be able to provide them as much as they want or as little as they want. And they wanted this. And so we continue to provide those things, except we as an organization were not able to backfill on those positions. And now we found ourselves in a position now where we've got to catch up. And at the same time, the schedule that we have, it also impacts, our ability to field personnel at a level of which that our calls for service demand. And so we've been very focused on that. So to answer your question about numbers, okay, we went from 38 to 40 last year. We are at 39 right now. We're at 39 right now. However, we have 2 people on disability. We have, or 1 person on disability, 1 person on light duty. We have an officer and a sergeant that have expressed their interest in 2025 retirement. So there is a number of, as we're looking forward, not only right now, but a number of impacts that we're going to have as time goes on in 2025, and we see that. So we are actively right now recruiting. We are recruiting not only from a transfer situation, but also we were just advised that Onondaga County Civil Service released their latest police officer basic civil service test. So we are going to canvass the list actually starting tomorrow and in pursuit of personnel into the future. Our 39th member is at the academy. So you can see 39 is at the academy, 38 is out, 37 is light duty, and we keep going down. We'll have another police officer is going out on disability in February for a bit. And so it keeps ticking away at those numbers, and we keep working to bring those numbers up. And then I think we'll have some personnel movement that will cause that too. So 2025, we are at 42. So having that number and being able to fill that number, right? So, but it gives us the opportunity to continue to strive to get there, which is the room that we need to deal with all of the impacts that we have there. So we have 4 full-time police officers that are assigned to the schools. So right now with 39, the numbers are really 35. And then you tick off one by one of the other impacts that you have from there. So we're very, very appreciative that the police committee and the town board looked at all that data and were able to recognize the patterns and trends to allow us to be able to move in that direction to provide that service that our community demands.
Great answer, I appreciate it. So it sheds light on why we have the budget we have. One other question on staffing and personnel. Were you able to fill the CSO position?
So yes, we were part-time.
Yep.
And our new CSO is working out great. She's learning the ropes. She's also learning our front office. She's filling in on all different levels. And we're excited she's picking up a lot of things that have been left unattended. And we're really excited about when our community engagement really picks up with the weather, it picks up, and getting her involved in a lot of those pieces for this company.
For those in the public watching the live stream, can you please tell us what a CSO is?
I'm sorry, community service officer. It's
Thank
a
you.
civilian, a part-time civilian that we added in 2024, but she didn't begin with us until October 16th of this year.
I guess I kind of amend my question, because I know we voted on it, but then I know there was a delay in her being able
There
to
was.
start, so she got going.
She got
Sounds
going.
like
and-
she's doing well.
Yes, yeah, we're
Great
very
addition
happy.
to the team.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other budget comments, questions? Okay. We don't need to do anything, we're just reviewing it,
That's right, yes, exactly.
because the horse left the barn. Retail theft task force town center. Chief, you're on again.
Okay, thank you. So I think you saw from some emails that I put out to the committee members. So you remember when we formed the Chiefs Business Advisory Committee in '23. And the pursuit of that was to engage our business community and so that they have the opportunity to talk to me directly and to our personnel to talk about what their concerns are. Many of these organizations are not residents of the town or have the ability to impact and give their opinions in a way in which that I think would be heard in different kinds of platforms. So I wanted to ensure that they understood that we wanted to hear what they had to say. And they came out and they were very clear. It was a great first few meetings. In fact, I believe, William, you had come by and for one of the trainings, and we appreciated that. And one of the areas in which that was a consistent concern from a number of the people that went, the businesses were at the town center area in the town. And they were concerned about the level of which they saw criminal activity, not only within their stores, but around. And it was impacting. When we started to take a look and have the conversations with them and with CORE themselves, we started to understand the depth of the numbers that they were dealing with. Some organizations there well into the over $2 million in loss in a single spot. Now, how does that compare to levels outside of our current town? There are stores in which that aren't far away from us that have over $6 million in shrinkage a year in like stores. But yet they were big numbers for these stores to be able to continue to carry on business. So we started having discussions on the ground level, meaning our police officers that were going to the calls for service, that were seeing the things that were going on. I think there's like a thought process that we're there looking for the kid stealing a pack of gum. We don't have time. That's not what we're there for. It's not what we're trying to do. Our concerns have been, and the concerns that have been voiced, is the large scale operations that go in and steal massive amounts and get it out to a U-Haul. Large scale style of operations that even multiple people from a single car stealing in order, and then escaping the area. Also, the concern about parking lot crime. So breaking into cars, smashing out windows, going here, get your gifts, putting your gifts in your car, leaving a purse out in your vehicle, leaving a wallet, having those things stolen. We were seeing that. Our officers responded to that and said, we think we have a better way. So when I was approached by the conversation with my command team that was brought up by our members, said we have a policy called member suggestions. It means that we're not just because I may be the chief, I'm not the smartest person in the room ever. So let's take all of what they have to say and give them an opportunity to demonstrate it. So our officers worked with our command staff. Specifically, I assigned Lieutenant Greg Snyder to command this operation. And that's why you saw him regularly when we did a lot of the media pieces. He was out there because I assigned it to him, and with the purpose of for several reasons, but with him knowing the most about it and being intimately involved in the program from the ground floor. So as the idea evolved and we found what we felt was a very good workable solution with our partners, then we started. I could give you an idea from the time that we started, which was the Wednesday just before Thanksgiving. We've arrested 10 subjects on 7 incidents for about $4,500 worth of recovered items there, for just those things. That's just what we were involved in. It's not what's going on, but it's what we were able to be involved in. And I think that with that, our partners at CORE, we worked collaboratively with each and every store. We said, what's your store policy? What would you like us to do? What do you not want us to do? We want to do as much or as little as those businesses want to do. And that's a point of the Chiefs Advisory Committee, is to listen to what they want. We found creative solutions to complicated problems. And we worked with the district attorney's office, with our partners there, with CORE. And much of what we're doing is also embedded in the distinct understanding and realization that we will not arrest our way out of these societal problems. We know what we need to do is as much education as we can. And if all we can offer is deterrence, we want to offer that deterrence. And by our presence, by the thought of our presence. So CORE purchased additional signs. We did some media releases, 2 different radio shows, on with News Channel 9, Christy Casciano, a follow-up to that. And I'm sure that we'll be doing a follow-up after the holiday season to kind of see, where we are. What's interesting is that we're watching right now, it's a busy season, but we're also seeing that we're having an impact.
That's interesting to me. So as at the inception of this, that was my thought. So it'll be great to see how it plays out. Kind of tucked in what you commented on a little bit earlier. Most interesting to me is the more intangible sense of sort of consumer safety. So there's a deterrent piece, yes, sexual loss prevention piece, yes, and there's the direct interventions of having more, folks on scene than typical. But so too, for me, the great intangible benefit is you hear not having our consumers and our residents not want to go somewhere because the reputation is, you're going to get your purse broken, and your car's going to get broken into or whatever, and to have this in place, we'll see how it plays out, but I imagine it'll have a positive effect for the retailers and for us at the town, just to sort of put squelch that type of reputation for this commercial area.
Yeah. As you know, I'm very analysis driven, so some of this stuff will be, quantified, and other pieces, will be more of anecdotal, but I'm excited to see what that leads us to. But I think what I really was impressed about this process was how collaborative it was. This was our citizens, our businesses coming to us and saying, we need a lifeline. And then it was us working with those different businesses and the property owner to say, okay, how do we do this so it makes sense? It's us working with the prosecutor's office because they understand the same situation. How do we do that? Us working with the media. How do we come together and get the information out there? and I can say this to you directly without any concern, we've spent 0 overtime dollars. I think there's an idea out there, it gets flushed out, I think when you see some conversations about what people believe goes on here. There hasn't been one additional dollar spent. We don't post overtime to position people down there. I'm not interested in taking on additional roles and responsibilities for asset protection for organizations. I am concerned with larger scale, more organized style of criminal activity, and activity that also leads to personal attacks and personal, focused attacks and crimes of opportunity while that's there. And it's been good so far.
How often do you meet with the business advisory committee?
So I'm gonna put something up for the spring, but it's not necessarily, this year hasn't been like a regular meeting. It's been more along the lines of email communication when we're bringing in something like, say there's a new scam out there, or we're picking up on some new data that's the banks are being able to be penetrated in a certain way, or the scanners that are being able to be used. We'll push out information regularly. I've been very aware that getting business folks in a room is very tough because they're running their business, right? So I want to find a way to maximize the use of their time, but be able to provide them a direct conduit of information to their police department, and for them to really understand who we are and what we do. So much of what we've done down there is they have a software for where they notify each other. So we're plugged right in with all of them. So even though they're calling 911, we're knowing what's going on minutes before these things are occurring. So we're sharing information on an operational level. We're sharing information, on a 10,000 foot level. And as time goes on, if we need to have more in-person training, I'd like to do that. We've also done a number of security assessments of places that have requested our help. So we've done that. So
I think the way you're handling it sounds like it makes sense. It had that initial meeting, you start the dialogue, and the dialogue grows from there, and then your communication, two-way communication is really a good way to go for everyone's time.
Right. In all of our businesses, no matter what we do, we don't have infinite resources. We have to prioritize. Constant prioritization of everything we do. Where are we going to put that resource? Is the most expensive piece of our puzzle. And having the direct contact with those in our community that have issues helps me prioritize where we put those pieces.
Anything else? Accreditation review.
Sure. So I asked that be added to the agenda, and as the town liaison to the department, both Supervisor Deere and myself were asked to come in and meet with the accreditor, and as nobody in this community will be surprised to hear that it was an overwhelmingly positive accreditation monitoring visit, which I will not get into because Chief will probably talk about it in his report. But from my perspective as a member of the town board, it was very pleasing to hear the thing, but I wanted to take the opportunity with this very experienced accreditor to ask, like, this is all good news. We're well situated here as a department. We're really glad to hear that. However, with your, penetrating insight into a number of different departments that you monitor and think of one situated similarly, where should we be concerned? Are there any things that you think, we need to focus on as threats or weaknesses? And he gave it a good long thought and produced two immediately, which should come as no surprise to this committee. And I just wanted to share what his response to my question was. One, the size of the school-based program, the SRO, SBO programs, and the generally unwieldy nature of its current oversight, the potential threat because this will continue to grow. And then the second was he was concerned about and this was in previous assessments too, the physical site and the restrictions that are inherent with the current facility. So again, no surprise to this committee, but this is a well-credentialed outside assessor telling us these things as well. So I thank you for that. And, that was all I wanted to mention on a CALIA accreditation review that I participated in. Because again, I'm sure Chief will have comment about that in his report, so.
And if you could just speak to the school-based program comment, and when you get your report, that would be great, just for a little bit more
Sure.
information about that.
I could talk a little bit about CALIA. I think as an organization, we've been involved in the pursuit of accreditation programs since our inception. Created 40 years ago, this January 1st. The organization was built around the town wanting more for its community and its growing community at the time, and being able to control costs associated with those better services, and to be able to provide a consistency of service across the board in policing and in so many other things. Our first chief of police, Leo Capri Jr., who came to us from the village of Manila, was great integrity, phenomenal leader, and he saw the ability of top-notch standards in policing that were being built by the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Officers, the National Sheriff's Association, and also PERF. I don't know if you're familiar with the Police Executive Research. And so they built these standards along the way, and he looked at this as an opportunity to take 3 separate machines and bring them together. It would be the tie that would bind us together under professionalism under the town. We pursued that from 1985 and attained it in 1996. Over 400 standards. The program has changed over the years. The program is an assessment every 4 years. We haven't had an assessment in 8 years because of COVID. We had the assessment, but it was not boots on the ground here, having, seeing, smelling, tasting, being a part of the organization, being a part of the community. This was the first time. There were 4 separate areas that we focused on. And those areas we focused on road patrol, our mental health, our use of force, our response to critical incidents, mental health types of critical incidents, and investigations. So what they do now is they look at your standards and meeting the standards. They do about 100 reviews of, about 100 standard reviews every year. In the 4 years, just over 400, about 487 standards. And then they come in and then they take a look, like all those things meet, then they go and they look at you from afar, from the media standpoint, they look and see what you've been doing. We have to fill out annual reports about everything that's going on with our organization. So they get a sense of what's happening in our community. There's a tremendous amount of analysis that you'll also see in this report. I'm happy to say that, the assessor had a significant body of work, because I want something for this. I want something. I'm the chief of police, but I need the transparency of having another set of eyes on the organization to provide that to our community. So important for me and for our community. CALIA agencies represent the top 1% of law enforcement organizations in the country. We'll say, what? How much does that cost? So we can go into that. It's about $5,000 a year. I also have an expenditure for accreditation assistant that is a contract that helps us, because I don't have our people there was a decision made at some point to move that off of the role and responsibility of our regular police officers to move that out, which financially makes sense. But for me, at a time in which the public demands the best from us, we should be demanding the best from us. And what is the best? How do you know what that is? I'm a big proponent of professional standards, and this program challenges us, whether they're here talking to us or not, because we have to do things a certain way. There's a reason why in January, we are evaluating an analysis that provides trends and patterns of all of our use of force to determine what are those trends and patterns, and then how do we make decisions? How do we provide better leadership? How do we provide better training? What is our policy? Is our policy connected to what we're trying to do? What are we seeing on the ground floor, and how are we changing to meet those standards? That's a requirement. We didn't do it before. So we have all of these different pieces that force us to examine ourselves continuously and utilize these trends and patterns to make better professional decisions in how we employ law enforcement community. So our assessor was very knowledgeable. He took a deep look at all these areas. The report, it's in draft form. I can tell you that I was able to review it. It's not releasable until I get a final copy. It's very favorable. There are those two areas that William acknowledged from his conversation. The area about the school resource officer piece, unfortunately, that's not new. I think that the program grew so fast that we're just going to try to tuck it under over here where there's a sergeant that can quite honestly help. And even though the sergeant was doing all that he could to manage it, the span of control is just not there. We're very fortunate, I will tell you that, because our SPOs and our school resource officers, they're not young, inexperienced police officers. They're all senior people that have a proven track record before they even get to that point, or retired members. So we're fortunate in the fact that their requirement of supervision, they don't require a lot. But that's no excuse, because they are in a significant position for our community. So we have struggled with how we do that, and we have talked about different ways in which to mitigate that. I will be reorganizing the police department in the first quarter, and within that reorganization, we'll be looking at solutions, temporary solutions, but we've got to look at some long-term solutions, and those will come also with a discussion with our customers, which is our partners at the school district. But in the reorganization, we'll be looking at some ways in which that we can provide some temporary relief.
Thank you for that.
Excellent.
Anything else on your report, chief? Is that just the tip? The starting point.
I'll move it along. I'm sorry. We talked about staffing. I'm excited that our new recruit officer is doing great up at the Black River Police Academy. In fact, we just had our Heroes and Helpers shopping event at Target. I don't know if you saw that up. Great time. We had about 50 kids with us, and we had a blast. Santa visited. We were very excited about Santa. We had great meals provided by Carrabba's, provided lunch for all the kids. They're wonderful partners to the community. We had food in the morning. The union puts this on. This is not me. This is not the police department. This is the union and its members coming together. Of course, they always invite, me and the other members of the command staff, and we all participate. And it's a phenomenal time. And even our new recruit officer was there for it and participated, and it was great. We have one opening right now, and we have two more that will come January 1st. I talked a little bit about some of the gaps and also our CSO. We already discussed real quick about reorganization, budget. End of 2024, this is a busy time of year. Holiday season's busy just because of call volumes. And then we kind of hit a little bit of a plateau. We start doing a lot of those reports we talk about. I talked about earlier. So a lot of assessment kind of analysis reports, analysis different from a review. You know, so we start looking at all these different pieces. And that's a part of what we do end of 24 into early 25. What I'm excited about to mention to you is about our 40th anniversary. And we've done a number of things, you know, within that, keeping that in mind that our 40th is coming. And with that, we wanted to kind of hark back to the foundation of why we exist. And I think you saw a pic of the new style of police car. I sent out an email a while ago. Did you guys get a chance to see that one? Because I could resend it out. We're not going to wrap our cars anymore. It's a black vehicle, but I'll tell you that the new markings also provide a modern take on a law enforcement vehicle, and at the same time have significantly reduced the cost. And that's also very important to us. What we're adding to our vehicles just for 2025 is an actual decal on the front quarter panels that have the patches of the 3 village police departments as they were when we consolidated, and our town patch, and serving for 40 years. I think you'll really like that. We're going to put those patches on all the cars for 2025 only, and then they go away. But it's kind of to give our thanks and to let our community know that we understand our past, and understanding our past is so important to how we continue to serve in the best way into the future. We also, I allowed our members, they came to me, again, not me, to commission an anniversary badge, shield. They asked if I would help them and allow it, and if I did, that they would pay for it. And so I commissioned their design of a 40th anniversary badge, which by special order will be allowed to be worn by our members from January 1st to December 31st, and then it gets retired, and they all keep their own shield. I think everybody bought one.
That's incredible. I'm always trying to get people to buy, like, hey, you want hats, t-shirts, anything to, you know, because it's a demonstration of your attachment to the organization.
Yes.
Your attachment, you want to demonstrate you're involved here because you feel passionate about the mission. And it's like, you know, wrangling people to get, you know, how many people can we get in on the order? You know,
Right.
So if you got the majority of them, I'm assuming it's not a real cheap item. I mean,
It's not, mine was like $135.
that says something about the culture shift.
Yes, and I will tell you that they're very excited about it. They're very excited about it, and what it means. We did this once before as an agency. I'm the only person that remembers it. That's because I'm the only person that's been there that long. But in 2000, we commissioned a Y2K badge that I still have, and we allowed it to be worn for that year, and then it was retired. So it wasn't a new idea, but it was something which they wanted to do, and the new shield is very nice, and I can't wait to be able to show you that when they come out. Additionally, we designed a commemorative challenge point, and with help from the members did this. The Cadet Corps uses it as a way to raise funds, so you can buy one for $8. It has the patches of all of our former village police departments. It talks about what we hold dear, which is service with integrity that exceeds expectations. There's a lot of symbolisms of guardianship and community within it, and we're real proud to have that too. So we've done some things rolling forward to celebrate that 40th, and without impact to our budget or to our taxpayer. Yet, I think it says a lot about, thank you, William, that our members are just so excited to be a part of this, that they brought much of this forward. We'll be putting out pieces also like in our social media. So come around that first part of January, you'll see 40 years and what does that mean? So how does that connect to our community? What was it like pre-85? Where are we now? So being able to celebrate our village policing, where we came from, showing, 1985 and the start of what that looks like. And also maybe highlighting, and we're talking about highlighting with some of our retired members that went through that still live in our community, to come in to go on camera and to
tell
put
the
out
story.
little vignettes and tell a story about what that was like and why it was a good thing. And they live in the town, so they can talk about it from the standpoint of, we live here, we live in the villages, we live in the town. And we want to share with you our experience and also where we are. So we're looking forward to pushing some of that stuff out, that information out, as time goes on. That's all I have. I'm all yours. What can I do to answer your questions?
Did you say challenge coin? Okay. And it was going to be $8?
Well, yeah, that's, I think, what
So
the cadets
the
are
public
doing.
will have an opportunity?
Well, I don't think, I have to check and see, the cadets sell them to the other police officers, the
Okay.
retired people,
Okay, sure.
retired officers and stuff, but, it's very limited edition. As a way to get, the price has to increase, the cadets use the money to go to special stuff.
Any other business for the committee?
We're gonna discuss 25 meetings.
I just have a question on fires. I didn't realize it, but I guess they've done instituting their new style and duet. Did you guys collab at all on that? They're very similar to the one.
No.
Have you seen them? Yeah.
No, I haven't seen the DeWitt cars.
They went black.
Yeah. I think it just, for us, made a lot of sense, because black is black. It's, depending on where we purchase from or we go, it's pretty standard. And we also looked at it from the perspective of repairs. It's a lot cheaper to repair a vehicle that I don't have to, again, wrap if there's parts of it that have been affected by a strike or a deer strike. So it helps out all the way around, makes it just a little bit more advantageous for us. And then as we repurpose them, so as they come off the road and we put them over here or in charge, it's less impactful because you can, strip them down. It's a little bit easier to manage that. So I'll look for it though. I haven't seen the doing.
One very next week today. And it looks like we're.
I just wanted to have I had one question. Did the annual turkey giveaway happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
170 food baskets to the FM food pantry and the Manoa food pantry. They split them right in half. And it's turkey or ham. So there's a limited number of hams that they do based on, they always like to have that opportunity, that choice. That was a great night. I went to the FM food pantry as I'm on the board of directors there. And so we were there for quite a while and were able to work with folks coming in for their Thanksgiving meal. And it was a great experience.
Other comments just for this committee, to remind everybody that, how many the number is 13, there are 13 Julia accredited departments in New York, is that the number? So 11 or 13, it's small.
I think it's less than that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's less than that. I know of, well, there could be more, but 7 or 8.
Into the work of this committee over 2025 as we begin restructuring to address the vulnerability of the growing school-based programs. Jason and I talk, I'm on a TAM team for a neighboring community, and today was our meeting, and today was 6 new referrals, all from school-based incidents. It's all, this is a targeted
violence prevention collaborative, all levels of law enforcement and community services. And the referrals keep coming in and they're all school-based. They're all kids in school.
They're very
Question
busy.
needs gonna grow.
Yeah, our school resource officers, SPOs are very busy in their schools. They are. So when you have a school resource officer, it really is truly built around being a tool on the tool belt of the building principle. When you have, kids that are in difficult circumstances, or have, behavioral issues, you know, they're out of school 16 hours a day. They come back for 7 or 8. You gotta manage that for that period of time. And how do we help the school, you know, manage that in a way in which that meets their high standards? FM and ESM have incredibly high standards. We love being their partner. We're big fans of both school districts, and how we can help them. But so much comes out of those situations that connect out into the regular world. And also connect back in. So when we have incidents outside, we're making our school resource officers know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Understand this happened tonight at 11:30 at night. This is, you know, you will have impact based on these kids will be with you tomorrow. So it's that constant information share. It's just so valuable for us.
Just, it's really unlaudable for this person to get ahead of the growth, do it in a planful and deliberate way. The direction in this committee's input. Better to do it before than after. Better it's too late.
And I think this community really expects that, they don't wanna wait for something to happen.
Well, and every time a horrific story comes across their newsfeed, like this week at the school in Wisconsin, it's just puts it back to top of mind.
Especially since that was so unique in so many different ways that it caught people by surprise. And so there are no safe spaces. We all kind of have to, it's safe for her, but we all have to kind of be aware of that, and it can happen anywhere at any time.
Any other business? We gotta get to the dates, right?
Calendar.
Get a calendar.
So I don't know if you guys want to continue just every other month. And if so, if you wanted to start in January or start it in February. If we start January and continue with the same pattern, the first date would be January 22nd. And if we wanted to wait and start in February, it would be February 26th.
I'm gonna go ahead and just boisterously advocate for February.
Okay.
Anybody agree?
So that's gonna be like our annual meeting then and do all our organizational business?
Sound good?
That's fine. I mean, I don't know what you guys do as far as
Well,
organization.
don't we have to elect a new chair every year?
So
I
did
don't
you
remember what we
guys,
said for a term. I don't think we did.
we pushed that to, I'd have to go back and look at Allison's note, but I believe we pushed that back to after
The village
the
elections?
village elections.
Okay.
I think she had originally, I think that's one of the last things she was working on. So I'd have to go back and look at it, but I'm almost positive.
I know we did make a thoughtful decision about this.
Yeah.
I just don't remember what it was.
So I will take a look at that tomorrow and just make sure, and I'll send an email and let you guys know, but I am almost 100% sure that you guys changed it last elections.
And the town board's got to set its dates for next year too. We have to have our org meeting, so I don't know.
So I think in our org meeting, we do have to appoint members of the committee, or so we're keeping it the same, right?
No, I don't think so. Well, we have to appoint who from the town board is going to be on the committee. But as far as the villages, that's up to them. They tell us who's gonna be on it. So I don't see a problem with waiting until February.
I love that answer.
But there is a little bit, the three villages are not on the same schedule anymore, because the elections for Village of Fayetteville occur in November. So I'm not sure how that will factor in, but that is a factor.
I think this year it'll be fine, and next year is where it's really gonna be impacted, because that's when 2025, you'll have your first November
No,
election.
we had a election, actually.
So then it's already, so the impact,
So you got
then you can be appointed, you guys can whoever, whenever. rest of the year.
I will have to check in, because the schedule for appointments happened in April, so we have a calendar year now, fiscal year, and,
So your next meeting is when?
the 23rd.
So your appointments are gonna be the 23rd, right? I think I was talking to the chief.
I need to,
Fire department, saying,
I need
okay,
to
you get
consult
this.
with the mayor.
Oh, yeah.
to make sure.
So is it safe to say the first meeting in 2025 will be February 26th? And then we'll adjust accordingly, or we're just gonna say every 2 months after that?
I'd say tentatively, because I don't know what we're setting our dates to, and typically we do before a town board meeting.
I can tell you that that February 23rd is a town board meeting. That's one of the ones that'll be, I've got the town board meetings all lined out, you guys just have to, that's one of the
Okay.
fourth, Wednesday of February.
Like I said, as long as Carrie says.
26th or the
26th.
23rd? 26th.
February 26th. Did
Yeah.
I say 23rd?
You said
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
So we'll be the 12th and the 26th of February. For
Yes.
now,
But
but
we-
we have to,
Yeah.
So we
Or
can,
fine.
on the 26th, we can approve the rest of the dates for the year.
Yes, and we can adjust them as always, I mean. So we can do that, and then I can even make sure that we have the election for the chair for that, and we can discuss that if you guys want that meeting.
April would make sense, because Manlius, no, we don't know up this year. Nobody up, so
It's your village.
just Manlius Village. Great, anything else? Wish you all a happy and safe holiday season, and
You too.
forward to seeing you in the new year. Chief, thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Thanks for your support.
I just wanted to reiterate that too. Carrie, thank you so much for keeping us organized.
I'm trying.
Being available to ask questions of us, and Chief, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful experience in my first few months here to
Absolutely.
learn more about this. Thank you.
Excellent. Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.